Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi is in big trouble today. Now, massive protests have taken place all over Egypt calling for him to step down. Now, there's been a report that over 14 million people have taken to the streets all over Egypt. 14 million. That makes it one of the largest protests ever. Can you imagine 14 million protesters? Now, some of the complaints of Mohamed Morsi's presidency include high unemployment, intermittent power failures, the government cannot literally keep its lights on, and gas shortages, of course, leading to long lines at gas stations. And, of course, a huge complaint is the fact that Morsi had tried to take more power for the Muslim Brotherhood by changing the constitution of Egypt to benefit Islamists. Now, in response to this, the military has given Mohamed Morsi a 48-hour ultimatum yesterday to get the protesters and the government to resolve their differences, or they would intervene. In the conflict, the last time the military intervened, as you can recall, that was to oust Hosni Mubarak. So, tick-tock, Morsi. It's not looking good, man. So, in response to this, the Muslim Brotherhood called on its supporters to protect the quote-unquote legitimacy of Morsi's presidency. Now, my take, of course, is that Morsi was elected fairly. I don't dispute that. Elections are great. Democracy is great. But when he started changing things around to benefit himself and his party, as far as changing the Constitution, that is not democracy. And I do not agree with that. Now, in response to that 48-hour statement by the military, Morsi issued his own statement late last night saying that it does not approve of the military's 48-hour deadline, and that Morsi continues to see himself as the legitimate leader of Egypt. Now, we've seen at least 5 of Morsi's ministers resign yesterday, as well as a provincial governor. So, by all intents and purposes, it appears that Morsi seems to be on his way out, whether he likes it or not. So far today, according to McClatchy, pro- and anti-Morsi demonstrators have clashed in the city of Mahala, and Morsi supporters were reported to be assembling in Giza to do a counter-demonstration. Now, some of these clashes have been violent, with McClatchy reporting that 14 people are confirmed dead and nearly 800 injured from these different clashes, including one clash where the Muslim Brotherhood, the headquarters of the Muslim Brotherhood, was firebombed. Now, obviously, I denounce the use of violence when it comes to protests on both sides, but overall, I'm happy to see that the demonstrations have been largely peaceful, except for these apparent clashes. And I certainly hope that the situation continues to stay largely peaceful, and hopefully that Morsi will heed the calls to step down or for them to have elections. I'm just hoping that the whole situation doesn't explode. Now, the kind of ironic thing here that I want to get into is that even with all this, Mohamed Morsi still has 23% of job approval. Now, obviously that fell a long way since his election when he had 75% approval. Now, the ironic thing that I want to contrast that with is the fact that our Congress here in America, they've got a 9 to 11% approval. Why are people not on the streets protesting our Congress? But no, they continue to get elected over and over again. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. As far as Egypt, I really hope that things continue to stay, for the most part, peaceful.